Scotty, it's 4 days until Easter.
I know, it's coming up fast. I can't wait.
I absolutely love Easter time, but Easter time also comes with some really big questions. And so what we've done this year is identified 4 of the big questions that people might be asking around Easter time. Gareth was down at George Whitfield College this past week, and he spent some time with one of the visiting lecturers, Dr. Craig Blomberg, who helped answer these questions.
Now, lads, Dr. Blomberg is the Professor Emeritus of New Testament at the Denver Theological Seminary. And these 4 videos are designed not just to encourage us, but to equip us, not just to answer our questions, but to help us have more confidence in speaking to our friends this year at Easter.
Now, Scotty, in this first video, Dr. Blomberg answers the question, did Jesus really have to die? And did he actually die?
Well, without any further ado, let's hear what he's got to say.
Jesus was a Jewish man in the first century who was birthed out of an entire worldview that believed that to make forgiveness of sins possible, people needed to offer sacrifice. But the sacrificial system of animals, birds, at times grain offerings in ancient Judaism was never understood as offering a full and final sacrifice. That would require someone who was completely human, if it was to forgive human sins, to be our representative, to be our substitute. But it also required someone who was divine so that the forgiveness would be eternal in effect and in significance. And so as Christians have believed that Jesus is the one unique divine, fully divine God-man in history, his sacrifice, as it turned out through crucifixion on a Roman cross in probably AD 30, is what we believe fulfilled that sacrifice. Did he actually do it? There have been popular notions from time to time that somehow he managed to swoon on the cross, maybe become almost comatose, fool people into thinking he was dead. But then you have to come up with a convincing way of explaining how a man in such a weakened condition, with so much blood loss, so many injuries, managed to revive, but also push his way out of a tomb sealed with a circular rolling stone that had to be pushed to one side, that even several women together coming to that tomb on the Sunday morning were sure they couldn't do so. And even if somehow he had managed that, to convince his followers when he appeared to them that he was healthy and in fact perfected and glorified and looking better than ever before, it really is an absurd notion.
Ladies, I think it's probably fair to say that more people attend church at Easter than any other time of the year, maybe even more so than Christmas, and yet the message they hear is quite gruesome. Jesus' death lies at the heart of Christianity. How can we engage with our friends over that issue this year?
Well, I think just hearing from Dr. Blomberg and how you said, Scott, death is central, don't avoid speaking about death. So maybe a simple question could be, ask your friend, when was the first time they heard that Easter was about Jesus' death? And what was their response to that? How did it make them feel? It's just a simple way to get in and not avoid speaking about the actual death of Jesus.
Sometimes those conversation starters can just open a door to take the next step in encouraging our friends to consider Jesus again at Easter.